We continue to do our baseline work around our population and employment estimates, which you recently heard from our research staff about, and continue to incorporate more around our qualitative data, our people-centered data, and what people are telling us and how we're incorporating that into the work that we're doing, both in the programs that we deliver, but also in the policy conversations that we're bringing to you and how we're sharing that information with you as well. In the HRA, we will be delivering our new state rent assistance program, Bring It Home, that you'll hear more about later this year, as well as we work on our contracts, and there's some actions that will be in front of you, but we expect those vouchers to be available at the beginning of 2026. And I know our Community Development Committee members have heard a lot about Inspire. These are HUD-directed regulations for building for home inspections that are a part of our HRA programs. We've been told for a couple of years now that we need to implement these, but they keep delaying them, and we keep being ready for when they say, okay, now go. So we're ready to go, and we expect that that will be happening soon. That will be a big undertaking for our team, and they've done quite a bit to prepare for that. And then one of the major things that we'll be doing is continuing to monitor federal budget changes, really to look at what those impacts might be, both in our current year and into the coming year as well. We are expecting a projected shortfall, and I know in our Community Development Committee we've talked a little bit about this already, but we expect to come back later this year to continue conversations on and receive council member direction on ways we may correct that shortfall and what we might also consider or need to be aware of as far as the federal conversation as that continues to unfold. With that, I will turn to Heather for the numbers.
Lisa, if I could just say one word to that piece too. I think the other important point that we'll try to bring here at the highest level is the relationship between the first bullet on that slide and the third bullet on that slide. As you have a new state program coming on and we have federal uncertainty, there's this question generally about the net impact and what it looks like. And we continue to talk about it right now, but the fact of the matter is it's all hypothetical until it becomes actual numbers. But I just want to connect those two dots and appreciate CD's work in tracking both simultaneously, as at the end of the day, both vouchers matter if you are at a place where you are looking for stable housing as a resident of this region.
Thank you.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, I'll move on to the numbers then. So the charts here you can see on the left are uses by department. It's split about 60-40% between HRA and community development, with community development having a slightly higher percentage. The $1.8 million are transfers to LHIA. On the right-hand side, you can see the uses by category. The majority of it is salary and benefits, paying for our staff to do all that work that Lisa just outlined, as well as work within finance and administration for all the budgeting and grant support that is provided as well. Contracted services, that's made up of a number of the projects that Lisa also just mentioned, as well as software costs, including the new grants management system that will be going live this year and then continue to be supported in subsequent years. There's also RA allocations, which I think folks have already spoken to, so support from RA Finance, IS, General Counsel, those sorts of things. And then the other category is just some other general administration costs. And then moving on to sources, so the other category, the majority of that is rental income from the Family Affordable Housing Program. About $3.15 million is out of there. The remaining portion is from admin fees from our HRA portability, as well as some interest earnings from the Parks program. And then the remainder of that is made up of either reserves in the HRA account or additional transfers from property tax out of the general fund. Federal is HUD administrative fees, so $9.3 million there. The $3 million HUD Pro Housing grant and the EPA grant that had been mentioned as well. Property tax amount is $19.8 million. That is just for CD and HRA. It does not include the Parks or LCA pass-through amounts. And then finally, moving on to the pass-through program. So on the left, you can see HRA. Those are revenue that is passed through for the housing assistance program. And then on the upper left-hand side, you can see livable communities. And then right below that, you can see the parks pass-through program as well. So those are being passed through to local communities through LCA and then through our parks implementing agencies. The very small wedge that you can see there that is orange is our planning assistance grants, which we have just started to build up the fund for that program. That will, we will have another round of support coming in 2026. So we are building that program through some transfers from the general fund as well. And then on the right side, sources by category. So we have, again, the federal pass-through revenue, state revenues, those are the parks funding. So $11.7 million of that is parks pass-through, and $120,000 of the Housing Trust Fund. Reserves are actually made up of prior year LCA property tax levy, so we keep those in reserve, and then cash flow as the projects are progressing. LCA and TBRA is property tax levy, so combined $20.5 million. And then the general fund transfers for LHIA and LPA programming. And I think that's it for CD.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
Are there any questions, Councilmember Wolf?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is the first time that the total community development budget is over what our general fund limit is. I'm assuming that some of that is coming from federal grants or something. What are we looking at for the future because of the limits on the general fund levy and the faster growing community development budget?
Madam Chair, Councilmember Wolf, you're right. We have several. So we have several FTEs that are funded through both our EPA grant and through our HUD Pro Housing grant. I think that's 5 employees, and the performance period for the EPA grant still gets us another 2 years out of this program, and the HUD Pro Housing grant, I think we're a 5-year performance period. So there's a time period for which they are fully funded, and that's part of our planning is to think about whether we continue to keep those positions in-house, and if so, how we fund those in the future, several years out, and continue conversations with our partners on how to do that.
Thank you for that question. Any other questions? Okay, I appreciate the overview and all of the work that the staff have put in for the operations budgets and all of the different divisions. And it sounds like we are in really good shape with our fund balances. A little bit of growth across the board, some areas more than others, and healthy reserves. In today's day and time, we need the cybersecurity support, so happy to hear about that as well. So before we move on.
Madam Chair,
Go ahead.
we'd still like to present transportation if we could.
Okay, that's fine, but I do have one person that has asked
very good.
for us to do a little quick break. And to include one or more public comments for someone who had indicated in advance that he wished to testify as a part of the proposed 2050 Transportation Policy Plan Amendment. And I would like to ask for a motion and a second to reopen the public meeting. So at this time, is there a motion?
So move. Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay, then that carries. The public meeting is now reopened. And Mark, you're here, and I'd like you to
Finally.
share your comments.
Yeah.
And you have 3 minutes to.
Yep. I work in radio and television, so I can work 3 minutes. Let me explain, though, before I talk about autonomous transportation, what really happened today. I'm a 66-year-old, hopefully mature adult, and take responsibility for being late. However, I ordered a 3 o'clock cab, a Metro cab, that got there at 4 o'clock. So that gives you your answer. But we do have, I work in Woodbury, we do have a 2 to 4 curfew that I wish would go away, and I'm going to mark as my new council rep, so I hope to get in touch with them and have a quick meeting at some point, not today, but at some point. So that's really what happened, and the curfews messed us up. But I do want to talk about autonomous vehicles. During the session in the House and Senate 2 or 3 years ago, I had tried to implement with Rep. Moeller, John Marty, and Scott Dibble, and a few others in the Senate, the MetroCab program as it stands now. When you work afternoons like I do, it works real well. Sometimes around dinner time here, it didn't. But I've also seen the autonomous programs that have been in Grand Forks, Rochester, and the U of M tried to sponsor one that didn't work out well, but it did. It proved to us that these things can be rendered and taken care of, but there's some work to do. It's like EV car vehicles. It's a great deal. It's a great thing 10 years from now, but we're proving that there's some work that needs to be done. The EV vehicle or the autonomous vehicles, a person could get in the vehicle with the proper access and key in their address of the vehicle. There's computer programmed to take them there. I mean, I believe that's coming, and I think we should look at it. And I think if there's going to be a lot of questions, yes, a lot of testing programs, but I think it can work. But we've got a lot of work to do now. And I know you folks at the Met Council are busy, but you know what? So am I. I'm not going to retire. I'm going to keep working. But I have to have ample transportation to get places. Today was a proven fact of why we can't have curfews. But maybe with autonomous vehicles, we can accomplish some more of our goals more efficiently, faster, and safely. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that would go into the 2050 plan, if
Thank
I didn't make that clear. Thank you.
We're glad we could accommodate you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Terry Dreesen back here is who saved my day back here, because I might not have gotten on. So thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And since we have opened up the hearing, I'm going to ask again if there are any other comments. If not, we're going to close the public meeting and we'll return to the 2026 proposed operating budget presentation for transportation.
My apologies, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Can you formally close the public hearing?
Oh, and so at this time, I will close the public hearing and remind everyone that the public comments will be accepted through 5 p.m. August 27. You can comment on the proposed 2040 transportation policy plan by writing or emailing us, and we'll record the comment on the comment line as well. So this hearing is now adjourned. Thank you so much. Ned?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And now I would like to introduce our transportation partners to share their vision for 2026.
All right, good afternoon, Chair, Council members. My name is Leslie Kinderis. I'm the General Manager of Metro Transit, and I'm joined by
Kristen Prescott, Interim Finance Director for Metro Transit.
And Heather. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself
Heather
again.
Kiesel, Director of Finance and Administration for Metropolitan Transportation Services.
Before I hand this over to Ms. Prescott to walk through the Metro Transit budget numbers, I wanted to just step back and put our 2026 operating budget proposal in the broader context of Metro Transit Forward. Metro Transit Forward is our strategic framework, and our proposed budget that we're bringing before you tonight would advance and aligns with this strategic framework. Just for some background, Metro Transit Forward is a document that we began developing in coordination with employees, with riders, community members back in fall of 2023, recognizing that this is a pivotal time for Metro Transit as it is for the transit industry broadly. We are experiencing a lot of change. Certainly travel behavior has changed in recent years, following the start of the pandemic in 2020, and we need to be adapting to meet travel demand as it is changing now. We are a growing system. As you're well aware, this year alone, we are opening 3 new bus rapid transit lines. We've already successfully launched the Gold Line back in March, the B Line in June. We will open the Metro E Line this December, and we are continuing to expand. Part of what you'll see in our budget this evening is continued growth in preparing for the Green Line extension launch in 2027. And another source of change is the establishment of the metro area sales tax for transportation that went into effect in October of 2023. You'll also see this in our budget presentation tonight. That sales tax has provided us a significant measure of financial stability and the ability, if not expectation, to plan ahead and provide a very clear vision for what we're doing with that increased investment. And certainly at Metro Transit, we know with that increased investment comes increased expectation. So much of our budget proposal aligns with the uses outlined in the sales tax statute, as well as responds to what we're hearing from our customers who tell us that having a safe, clean, reliable system that meets their needs and allows them to get where they need to go conveniently is really at the heart of what we're doing. So I'm going to turn it over to Kristen to walk through the details, but again, just appreciate the opportunity tonight to share how our proposed budget would further these goals. So, Kristen.
Thank you,
I
Leslie.
don't know if you want this or not. Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, we wanted to kind of give some division highlights on what really is driving our 2026 operating budgets. For Metro Transit, we have public safety, and that's going to include our TRIP program as well as supplemental security. We have Network Now for service expansion, cleaning and maintenance, and as well as preparing for the Green Line extension opening in 2027. For Metropolitan Transportation Services, or MTS, they have Special Transportation Services State Forecast Program. They also have Network Now, and that's for micro transit, and then they have fixed routes operated by other transit provider contracts managed within MTS. They're also part of Network Now. And then as well as the ongoing regional transportation planning program projects. So this is just kind of our council ridership. You can kind of see in 2020 where we had the drop for the COVID pandemic. And in 21 to 24, we had a steady incline as people were returning to work. From 25 to 26, we're really anticipating kind of a level ridership, but we'll be watching closely as employees are being mandated back to work. So this is our transportation budget. It's at $1,051 million. What you're looking at is our operating sources. What I really wanted to point out on this slide is the amount of state revenues that is funding our transportation budget, and that's at 73%. Next one. And then here's our transportation operation uses. On the left side, we have uses by mode. You can see a Metro Transit bus makes up a big chunk of the mode uses, followed by light rail and then special transportation services at 13%. On the right-hand side, we have uses by categories. Big price tag here is going to be our salary and benefits. That's more on the Metro Transit side. And then we have the contracted services on the Metro, the MTS side. Both are providing service to the public.
Okay, so I'll provide a little bit of background on our special transportation services. Again, this is Metro Mobility and Metro Move. So programming of federal funds, this is the first year since 2021 that we will not have any federal pandemic relief funding in the budget. So I did want to highlight that. There is $2.9 million in the special transportation services budget from DHS for Metro Move. And then later on in the year, you will hear about capital federal funds that are part of the Metmo budget. Ridership is projected to be at 91% of pre-COVID levels in 2026. We've got about $6.5 million of fares for Metro Mobility, our special transportation services. Again, our service is projected at 100%. We've been around 89% of ridership, so we'll continue to track that throughout the year and make adjustments as needed. And then, again, service at 100%. Gas, we have at $3.55 a gallon. This is down from last year. It was at $3.58 a gallon. And in general, our fuel prices are down 10% from the 2025 adopted budget, just because of the reduction in cost as well as less activity on Metro Move. And then the other big story was that we transitioned to a state forecasted program on July 1st of this year. Reporting for that program will begin officially in the fall here. But we're excited about the opportunity that that brings. It'll be in the forecast, adjusted February and November, and then it'll eliminate the need for us to go back each legislative session to seek out an appropriation to support Metro Mobility and Metro Move. So that is, I think, it.
It is.
Thank you.
Any questions on the transportation budget?
No questions. Thank you for the Transportation Division budget information. Again, looks like we're in really good shape. Happy to hear that our ridership has rebounded in a good way from the pre-COVID levels. And we'll be hearing more.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to wrap it up, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you just told them. So our budget for, just as a reminder, 2026 is $1.8 billion, and the levy is $98 million, which of course is a 2% increase over last year. And this is the list of everyone that you just heard from. So if you have any questions that we didn't answer tonight, or you think of a question later, please feel free to reach out to them, and we appreciate the council's attention and curiosity. And sometimes accuracy.
Very humble.
With that, I stand for any other questions.
Other questions? Seeing none, thank you again for the presentation, and we will move on to reports. Do we have any reports from council members? No reports from council members. Regional Administrator?
No report today, Madam Chair. Thank you.
You're welcome. And?
No report, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here today. And with that, we have no other business, so I will call this meeting as adjourned.